They fenced off my water without asking, so I bought the company that told them to do it. When I left for a week to check on a cattle auction 2 counties over, my land was quiet, just the way I like it. 100 acres of scrub, pasture, and one narrow creek that cut across the back half of my property. That creek wasn't just scenery. It fed my livestock, kept the soil alive, and had been part of the land long before I ever signed the deed. When I came back, the water was gone, not dried up, not diverted by nature, blocked. A tall chain-link fence ran along my boundary line, cutting straight across the creek like a scar. Steel posts driven deep, concrete footings, and a bright warning sign wired to the center. Private development property, no trespassing. On the other side of that fence, just beyond my land, bulldozers crawled like ants over freshly cleared earth. A new housing project, rows of future homes mapped out in stakes and spray paint. And my creek? It had been rerouted into a retention pond for their construction site. No call, no notice, no permission. Just taken. I stood there for a long minute, listening to the faint hum of machinery and the silence where my water used to run. Then I smiled, because people like that always make one mistake. They assume landowners don't read contracts. I went inside, pulled out my old files, and found exactly what I needed. The water rights deed that came with the property. Not just access, ownership. That creek, every drop that flowed through my land legally belonged to me. And whoever had redirected it. They just handed me leverage. I made a few calls, quiet ones, found out the name of the developer behind the project. Mid-sized company. Aggressive growth, a little overextended. The kind that cuts corners to stay ahead. Then I called a lawyer. 2 days later, we filed an injunction for illegal water diversion, environmental violation, and property interference. Included satellite images, survey maps, and a neat little timeline of when the creek stopped flowing. Construction halted within 48 hours. Machines went silent. Workers disappeared. But I wasn't done. Because lawsuits take time. And I had something better. Leverage. I dug deeper into the company. Public records, financial reports, investor notes. Turns out they weren't just cutting corners. They were drowning in debt from 3 other unfinished projects. All it took was one bad hit to tip them over. So I made an offer. Not to fight them, to buy them. Through a holding firm and a quiet partnership, I acquired a controlling stake in their company for less than what they'd already poured into that development. They never saw it coming. 1 week they were gearing up for expansion. The next, I was sitting at the head of their boardroom table. The same people who fenced off my water now had to answer to me. First order of business? Restore the creek. Immediately. Fence came down within hours. Equipment rerouted the flow back to its original path. By the next morning, water was running across my land again like it had never left. Second order? Pause the entire development indefinitely. See, once I looked at their plans, I realized something. They weren't just building near my land. They were building in a flood-prone zone. That retention pond they'd stolen my water for, it wasn't enough. Not even close. So I shut it all down. Filed new environmental assessments. Delayed permits. Redirected funding. Within a month, the project was dead in the water. Ironically, because of the same water they tried to take from me, the investors pulled out. The company stabilized under new management. My management and the land next to mine, still empty, still quiet. Now, when I walk out to that creek, I don't just hear the water, I hear a reminder. Some people think they can take what isn't theirs and fix it later. But sometimes, they don't just lose the fight. They lose everything they built around it.